Once upon a time, in a peaceful farm nestled between rolling hills, there lived a rooster named Clancy. Clancy was no ordinary rooster. He was the most colorful and proud bird you could ever lay eyes on. His feathers were a striking mixture of red, gold, and orange, making him the most beautiful rooster in the entire farm. Every morning, he would wake up with the first light of dawn and strut around the farmyard, crowing as loud as he could. Cock-a-doodle-doo! His crowing was so strong and bright that it echoed through the fields, waking up every animal in the area. Clancy loved the attention he received. He would puff out his chest, lift his head high, and gaze at the other animals in the farmyard with a smug smile. "I am the most important animal here," he would think to himself. "Without my crowing, the farm wouldn't wake up. I am the heart of this place." The other animals on the farm were, for the most part, kind and gentle creatures. There was Daisy the cow, who spent her days chewing grass and giving milk; Ben the horse, who helped plow the fields; and Lucy the sheep, who spent her time grazing peacefully in the meadow. They all respected Clancy, but they could see how proud and arrogant he had become. He often boasted about how beautiful his feathers were and how loud his crow was. One day, as Clancy strutted around the barnyard, he saw his reflection in the window of the farmhouse. His feathers looked even brighter in the morning light, and he couldn't help but admire himself. He puffed his chest and said, "I am the handsomest and most important animal on this farm. Everyone relies on me for their day to begin. Without me, the farm would be in chaos." As Clancy was admiring himself, he heard a soft voice from behind him. It was Daisy the cow. "Clancy," she said politely, "I think you're a wonderful rooster, but perhaps you don't realize how much everyone else on the farm works, too. We all play a part in making the farm run smoothly." Clancy tilted his head. "What do you mean, Daisy?" he asked with a smug look. "Without my crowing, there would be no sunrise. I am the one who starts the day. What do? Just eat grass and stand around all day?" Daisy shook her head gently. "Clancy, the farm needs all of us. I give milk that nourishes the farmer and his family. Ben works hard in the fields, and Lucy helps by providing wool for the farmer's clothes. Each of us has an important job, just as you do." Clancy's pride was hurt, but he refused to admit it. He simply puffed up his chest again and said, "Maybe you're right, but I still think I am the most important animal here." That very day, the farmer decided to hold a contest to see which animal was the most valuable to the farm. All the animals gathered in the barn, eager to see who would win. The contest involved a series of tasks: picking the most delicious apples from the orchard, pulling a heavy cart filled with hay, and even a race across the farm. Clancy, of course, was confident he would win every task. He was sure that his crowing was what made the farm run, and he was certain that no other animal could be as important as he was. The first task was to pick the most delicious apples. Clancy was too proud to even try. After all, he didn't need apples. He was a rooster, and apples were for the cows and the farmers. Daisy, on the other hand, carefully picked the ripest, juiciest apples. She won the first task easily. Next was the task of pulling the hay cart. Clancy didn't even try. He wasn't strong enough to pull the heavy cart, and besides, he didn't need to get dirty. Ben the horse, however, worked hard, and with his strong muscles, he easily pulled the cart across the farm. He won the second task. Finally, it was time for the race across the farm. Clancy was sure he would win this one. After all, he was fast on his feet and had great stamina. But as the race began, Clancy quickly grew tired. He had spent so much time boasting about how important he was that he hadn't noticed how hard the other animals had been working every day. Meanwhile, Lucy the sheep, who was calm and steady, paced herself carefully and won the race. At the end of the day, the animals gathered in the barn to hear the results. The farmer smiled at them and said, "Every animal here has done an incredible job today. Clancy, you are a wonderful rooster. But remember, the farm depends on all of us, not just one. Daisy, Ben, Lucy, and even the little mice in the walls, they all have important jobs that help make the farm run smoothly. Clancy, feeling embarrassed but wiser, lowered his head. He realized that while his crowing was important, it wasn't the only thing that made the farm successful. Each animal had its own unique role to play, and they all worked together to keep the farm happy and healthy. From that day forward, Clancy became a little less proud and a lot more humble. He still crowed loudly every morning, but now he also made sure to say thank you to the other animals for the work they did. He understood now that the farm was a team effort, and each animal, big or small, had an important part to play. And so, the animals of the farm lived in harmony, each doing their best and supporting one another, with Clancy, the rooster, no longer just the proudest animal, but one of the most respected